Sweet. All right. Let us try to learn something today. Start the timer. Okay, let's push some coffee. So the goal here is to basically force myself to spend 30 minutes a day learning something. So I figure what more reasonable way to do that than to stream it. So yeah. I also don't know anything about Twitch basically, so I don't know how to tell if anyone's watching, how to see my chat. Oh, I guess this is like my little dashboard. Okay, I can pull this out of here. That makes sense. All right. Oh God, I don't want to do that. 29 minutes. Oh no. Oh, cool. There we go. No viewers. It's totally fine. I can see everything now. Okay, so let's talk about Phoenix and Elixir. So what I know about these things. So I know how to build web apps. I know how to build APIs. I don't know anything. I know a little bit about Elixir. Um, so I'm basically trying to figure out. We're using Elixir at work quite a bit. I am the type of person to wait as long as I can to learn something. So I've been doing lots of work in other places, particularly Ruby on the back end, building APIs. So now everybody seems to be moving to Elixir, at least in some things that need it, which makes sense. So it's time to learn it. My approach to learning is never like this. I don't usually stream learning. That's fine. So I'm basically usually I watch videos and stuff like that. Um, Actually, I pretty much exclusively watch videos. So this is going to be a little bit different and interesting. I'm gonna have to do it all through text, which is fine. Like it's easy enough. I can just say, let's go through the guide here. So like I've literally never looked at this website. If I go to these guides, we can basically, in theory, run through these documents, build some stuff on this side, and build something. I put a timer up there because I don't know the timer. Did the timer stop? Stand by. The timer is still going. Why is this timer? Oh, there it is. That's weird. Whatever. We'll see if that actually works. Seems to be working now. I have to work, so my thinking is if I do half an hour a day or half an hour every couple days or half an hour a week or whatever, it's probably all better than what I'm doing now, which is just focusing on delivering features and stuff like that and not really prioritizing my learning. So that's what we're out to solve here today. So let's build something. So I think the first thing that we always want to build with any kind of API or web framework is just like a basic page that renders something. I have my terminal over here. I will fire up a new editor. So let's do that really quick. That seems like that's going to be necessary. There's always a couple things when you get into like working with a new language, like the build tools and all those kinds of weird things that you got to figure out at first. Um, so that's always like the first hump. Once you get over that hump, you can basically get into everything else. So let's just open up a new editor. Let's create a new folder to work in. I don't want to like display everything in my hard drive, so stand by. I'm just going to create a new directory here. Stream. Okay. All right, so we have a new directory called stream. This is where all the things will go. So let's make a directory for Phoenix. Hardest thing about Phoenix so far is how to spell Phoenix. I find it to be extremely challenging thing to spell. So let's just make that directory, jump into that directory. Now we've got a thing. Okay, so this guide should tell us something about how to build a thing. So let's see. It's made up of distinct parts. They each play their own role. So endpoint, that makes sense. It's like a URL. It's like /Phoenix. Router basically connects requests to endpoints most of the time. That would be how we actually get to this overview page, I'm sure, or something like that. Controllers, they provide all the logic when a router gets to an endpoint. So what's this endpoint? The start and end of the cycle, handles all aspects of requests up until this point where the router should take over. Provides a core set of plugs. No idea what plugs are. Dispatches requests into a designated router. Okay, that's fine. It's interesting the timer doesn't stay working. I wonder why. Like when it defocuses, it Twitch gets scared. I mean, OBS gets scared and stops updating it. That's fine. That's even better. I don't have to look at it that way. Okay. You know what would be funny? Fun. Let's just tweet that I'm doing this because maybe someone I know will want to come hang out. I literally don't know what my URL is. That's awesome. Oh my gosh. How do I get to my channel? It's crazy. I used Twitch like years ago when it first came out, and it was so much. It had so much less stuff, which is kind of funny. Let's do this. All right, I'm just gonna see if I can get a link to this, and then I can move forward. There we go. All right, that should work probably. Trying to see if streaming myself learning something will force me to actually learn it. 30 minutes on the clock. Oh, I meant to do meant to be a good tweeter. Get rid of this quickly. I meant to be a good streamer here and or not streamer, a good Twitter, and put some tags here because that was probably how anyone who cares about Elixir might see it. Elixir, which is the language, phonics. Phoenix. Why is it so hard to spell? Yeah, that's it. Okay. Elixir Phoenix. That's enough. I'm not here to optimize. I just want to learn something. Let's get rid of this. Okay, we did it. We did it. We tweeted. Amazing. Trying to see if streaming myself learning something will force me to actually learn. 30 minutes on the clock. Okay, and I bet the clock doesn't work. So useless. God, software is the worst. 21 minutes. That's plenty of time. Okay, back to learning. We have like 300 viewers now, so that's a really good spot to be at. All right, so views, render templates. So we're looking at a view here right now. That's amazing. Templates. This is a thing that I've read a little bit about, or I've interacted with some of the Elixir Phoenix stuff at my work, and I don't know it, but I've seen it. So like I've seen there's views and templates. So that's definitely an interesting thing to figure out. Like why are there views and templates? Views render templates. Templates contain the contents that will be in the response. They provide a structure. Ooh, they're fast. Okay. Okay. Part of the approach to here is basically, I think you learn best when you see what the surface area of the like 80% of the problem space is. So like I understand that there are endpoints, routers, controllers, views, templates, channels, and pub/sub. So I might not know what any of those things do, but at least I understand that those are all the things that I might have to learn at some point. So let's see. We have channels. So they manage sockets for real-time. Okay, so that's sockets. That's like node stuff, I guess. Similar thing. They open a socket, two-way communication, super fast, I bet. That allows things like live chat to work, right? Where we send a message and the message just shows up in another browser without having to do a page refresh or something like that. And then PubSub underlies the channel layer, allows clients to subscribe to topics. Okay, so that's kind of like a messaging system. That's kind of cool. So say someone sends a message gets put out, broadcasted out to some topic, which is like a list of things that happen. Then you can subscribe to that topic. So if you want to know every time a message is sent to somebody's browser or whatever, you can subscribe to it, and when that message is published, you get notified so you can display it or something like that, which is kind of cool. Okay. We just covered the internal parts that make up Phoenix, but it's important to remember it's actually a layer on top of a multi-layer system. Oh, fun. Okay. Cowboy plugin Ecto. Cowboy, by default, it's a web server. Okay. Web server. And again, like this is another technique that I like to use where I don't try to learn it all at once. Like Cowboy's a web server. Great. Moving on. I'll probably come back to Cowboy later if I have to. Plug is a specification for constructing composable modules. Okay. So we can build modules with plug. Modules are like units of functionality that we can put places, I guess. They're reusable. They're reusable modules and functions built to that specification. Provide discrete behaviors like logging. They're small and consistent. Okay, they can be put in a pipeline. This is one thing in Elixir that's worth noting. So if I were to have, I don't know, if I were to have a file in here, if I just do like cat, is it cat? No, cat. I don't even know what it is to make a file. Let's just use code. Open this. All right. So here's our editor. Let's just close this. Let's create a new file. Text.text. Perfect. So what's really cool is in Linux, you have something called a pipe. So if I do ls, that lists all of the files or directories in a folder, right? So I can say ls, that lists everything, but I could also say grep text, and that'll return, whoops, don't do that. Is that what you do? No, grep the current directory dot, and look for files named text. Grep text. What? Why am I doing wrong? Grep text. I always do it through a pipe, so I don't even know if there's some other piece to this. Grep path name file name. Okay, grep dot. Maybe that doesn't work. Name text. Whatever. You're drunk, grep. But anyways, you can do ls, so that lists all the files, and then pipe that. That's what this thing is. Pipe grep text. There you go. So ls outputs a list of files. The pipe combines two functions, one which is called grep and one which is called list, or ls. I assume it stands for list. And then grep accepts an argument that says search all the return from this. So everything that ls returns, I want you to grep it for the string text, which is kind of cool. And so there's a lot of pipes in Elixir because the makers of Elixir like that, like the pipe, which I do too. Pipe is amazing. Okay, so anyways, back to here. We're up here, right? Plug. So plug, remember plug, modules, got it. Yeah, so because plug API is small and consistent, plugs can be defined and executed in a set order like a pipeline, which is just like this. So these could be like little plugs that you plug in together and pipe together to do things, which is cool. All right, they can be written to handle almost anything. Okay. Phoenix takes great advantage of plugs. I mean, it makes sense. That's great. Ooh, a plug guide. Okay, again, we'll get to plugs later. I'm sure it's important. Ecto is a large integrated query composition tool. Database wrapper. Okay, so we have databases with web applications. We're going to need a way to talk to those web applications. Ecto is a query composition tool, which basically means it gives us some syntax to write queries against the database. Ecto. I wonder what ecto means. What is ecto? Outer, external. Maybe that's what it means. Cool. Cool. All right. Ecto is built around 4 main abstractions. A repo. A repository represents a connection to an individual database. Every database operation is done via a repository. Whenever they chose the word repo, that's a connection to an individual database. Schema. Schemas are our data definitions. They define tables and fields. Okay, so that's like our database schema. Same kind of idea. Cool. Query. Tie both schemas and repositories together, allowing us to elegantly retrieve data. Okay. Change sets declare transformations we need to perform on our data before our application can use it. Casting, validations, and more. Okay. Uses Postgres by default. That's pretty standard these days. I actually use MySQL like exclusively, but Postgres is fine. A note about these guides. If you find an issue with these guides, make an issue. Okay, cool. Sweet. All right, so I think we want to find a guide that basically gives us like beginning to end. So where can we find that? Endpoint. I need like a hello world, right? So let's Google for that. Phoenix hello world tutorial. I would love to use like a built-in up and running. That's what we want. Awesome. The aim of the first guide is to get a Phoenix application up and running as quickly as possible. Okay, that's what I want. I want that too. Let's see how much time we have. We have 13 minutes. Let's see if Phoenix can stand up something in 13 minutes. My guess is I'm going to prevent it from doing that, but let's see what we can do. All right, take a minute to read the installation guide. A minute? I only have 13 minutes. All right, so let's figure out where we're at. So Phoenix is a framework that utilizes Elixir, so we need to make sure Elixir is set up. So what version of Elixir are we on? I forget how Elixir works, so I got to figure that out. How do I even see mix version? Erlang OTP. So Erlang is the underlying technology for Elixir. Elixir is not a command, is it? Is it? Amazing, it is. Okay, we're on 1.8. Sweet. And we're on Elixir. I'm sorry, we're on Erlang 21. So if we do this, we already got Hex, right? So Hex is a, I don't know even what it's called. It's like a package manager slash task runner slash, it's like all the tooling you really need to work with Elixir, I think. I'm sure there's a technical term for what it is, but it does all of our kind of command line things for us while we're working with Elixir, which is fine. So we've got Mix. We're good with Mix. We're good with Erlang. We have Erlang. We're running Erlang 21, which is great. And oh, here it is, Elixir V. Yeah, we got that, and we're on version, what was it? 1.8. This is for 1.5, so we're ahead of the game here. All right, so now we need to install Phoenix. So once we have Erlang and Elixir, we're ready to install Phoenix. A mix archive is a zip file, which contains the application as well as its compiled Beam files. Beam is the, what does Beam stand for? I forget. Beam. Erlang. Erlang is the underlying programming language. Beam is the virtual machine. The Erlang virtual machine. Why is it called Beam? We gotta find out. Beam. B. What's the B for? The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Beam. Come on. Someone's gonna say why it's called Beam. Why is it called Beam? Elixir or Erlang? This makes me sad. This makes me really sad. That's okay. We'll find out later. Can't get tied down. We only have 10 minutes. Oh my god, we have 10 minutes. Okay. All right, cool. So here's a command to install the Phoenix archive. So mix archive dot install. So this is a mix command to install something. Hex Phoenix new 1.4.2. Oh no, is my head in the way? My head's in the way. Let's bring this up. Okay, that should be fine. What's an archive though? Mix archive. I don't think we know what a mix archive is. Whoops. I don't think we know what an archive is. Mix archive install. Installs an archive locally, but what's an archive? Archive. Lists all installed archives. Archives are typically installed since archives are specific to versions of Elixir. What's an archive though? What is a mix archive for Elixir? A mix archive is essentially a zip of your Elixir project in the Erlang archive format. But what does that do for us? Simply put, this allows us to install a mix archive and use it in the command line tool in our system. This is how Phoenix achieves mix Phoenix new task on your system. Okay, so an archive is basically a zip of a program so that you can run it in some kind of an Erlang format. That's all we need to know, right? We're not making archives. We're not trying to solve anything complicated here. We simply have 8 minutes and 50 seconds to get this working. All right, so we're gonna install the Phoenix new, I guess like the Phoenix new command, basically. Cool. These are either Elixir or Erlang projects or part of the Phoenix application by default. We won't need to do anything special with them. If we let Mix install dependencies as we create our new application, these will be taken care of us, right? So we just read about Plug, Cowboy, and Necto. They're all included in Phoenix. I am sure I want to install that. Okay. I just realized I named this folder Steam. God, terrible. How embarrassing. That's awful. Make sure that my little dashboard actually shows me everything I need to see here. I think it does. It does. Okay. I need to get a better timer for next time. That's kind of garbage that it only refreshes when I'm focused on it, which is fine. Okay, great. Let's see. Okay, well, Node, we got Node stuffs. So Node is an optional dependency. Phoenix will use Webpack to compile static assets by default. Webpack uses the npm to manage its dependencies. So Node. Okay, so if you never worked with Node before, this is like a whole nother bag of tricks. Webpack is a build tool. npm is a package manager for Node stuff. Oh gosh, let's hope that we have a decent version of Node. 8.1.1. I need more coffee immediately. I think 8.11 is like new enough. Let's look at Node.js. Let's see what the latest Node is. Node.js is a backend server-side JavaScript language or whatever. 10.15, 11.12. I mean, we're close enough, right? Let's see. We'll find out, I guess. All right, so I don't think we need to do this stuff. I think we're good there. Postgres. This is always a nightmare. Do I have Postgres PSQL? Oh boy. It's a relational database server. Maybe I'll just use MySQL because I know it works on my machine. We use ecto schemas, blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. Now that everything's installed, let's get our first app up and running. 6.5 minutes. We got this. No problem. All right. Mix phoenix.new. That's the archive we installed. Hello. Hello. Do I have anything in here? Let's remove text. And then let's do our mix using our little mix tool. Phoenix.new is the archive we installed. We're going to create a new app called Hello, I guess. Awesome. Fetch all the dependencies? Yes. I mean, otherwise it won't work. And you can see that that's what the documentation said. It said do a mix dependency get, right? Does that make sense there? Clock's ticking. Clock's ticking, mix. Looks like it's getting all the dependencies. It's compiling all the dependencies. It is going into the assets folder. I assume when we did Phoenix New, it just, oh yeah, here it is. It pooped out all these files. So we've got a whole bunch of files. So now it's going into the assets, which is going to be like the CSS, the JavaScript, etc. And it is going to npm install that whole like Node app in the Webpack builder. which is fine. That's what we want. We want that. We want that. While that's happening, let's get distracted because that's what I do. 5 minutes and 12 seconds. We're fine. Everything's fine. Just want to make sure that that tweet go out. Honestly, not that I expect anyone to actually watch this, but I just feel like I deleted it or something. My computer is taking off right now doing this npm install. That's amazing. Okay, we don't even have that much of a page to get done. 4.5 minutes. I think we can do it. Oh my gosh. I'm curious what I guess it's building a whole app for us really. In the node. I wonder, okay, so while we're waiting, we might as well learn something, right? So let's understand what role node plays. Oh, it's done. Okay, hold on. We have 4 minutes, 15 seconds. We can take a 30-second detour. So it uses Webpack to compile all of its JavaScript and CSS. It uses npm to install dependencies, which requires Node.js, which we know that. We understand that. That's basic stuff. If we have any static assets or want to use another build tool, we can do that. So basically, it just is used as a build tool, essentially. There's probably some JavaScript junk in there that needs to be used. And if you add any JavaScript and stuff like that, I'm sure there's a standard for how to do that. But they've committed to using Webpack, which is fine. That makes sense. All right, cool. Oh look, it's even telling us right here. A note about Webpack. Phoenix will use Webpack for asset management. Assets again are that JS and CSS stuff. Its dependencies are installed via Node Package Manager, not Mix. So that's basically saying like if something goes weird with your npm, nothing's going to work. So deal with it there. It's not Mix's problem, which makes sense because Mix manages the Elixir stuff, npm manages the Node stuff and the JavaScript stuff. Phoenix will prompt us to install at the end of Mix new task. If we say no, we don't install those dependencies, our application will raise errors when we try to start it because none of the assets will be compiled. If we don't want to use Webpack at all, we can simply say no Webpack, but nothing will work, so let's not do that. And then it also says ecto, such as Postgres, MySQL, blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. That's fine. To learn more about this, you can read this. We're not going to do that, though. All right, so we created hello. We created all the stuff. We fetched dependencies. It generates its directory structure, which I'm sure. So here's our new app that we've generated. And we can open this up in the editor. Check that out. And let's see. Okay, cool. Look at all our stuff. We got all the stuff. We even got a README. Cool, cool. And now let's start it up. So we're in the directory. We mix ecto create 99% chance this doesn't work. Let's see if it works. Because this is going to be looking to Postgres and try to create the database. That's okay. We can try that next time. That's not a big deal. What if I could do create like MySQL? Can I do that? No. It said somewhere in here. Do I? Maybe Postgres I can run with the app. I have Postgres. So where's my little getting started thing? We're gonna extend it. We gotta extend the timeline. This is software development. We extend timelines. That's what we do. What I want to know is about PostgreSQL. It's a relational database server configured blah blah. Yeah, we know what that is. So we can switch by passing this when creating a new application. Oops. Actually, let's do that. Let's do that. That's okay. We're gonna remove hello. Hello. Okay, and we're gonna do it again, and we're gonna use --database MySQL just because I know it works on my machine, and I'm not when learning stuff. It behooves you to avoid dealing with stuff that isn't about what we're learning. I'm not trying to learn Postgres right now. I could do that later if I wanted to, and that's fine. Maybe I will, but I'm trying to learn Phoenix and Elixir, not Postgres or how to configure Postgres or how to configure anything. That's just a waste of time right now. So what I'll do is I'll do mix phoenix.new --database. Did it say equal? Database MySQL. MySQL. Let's see if that works. Okay. Did that not work? Mix. Please. --database. Options. Yeah. Maybe I have to do like mix new. Oh, hello. And we're gonna have to take let my computer take off again. 8 seconds. Over budget. Not on time. Means we're doing software development. Oh my god, this is so loud. All right, let's see how far we go over. Clear. Clear. Clears. Hello. I wanna do it again. Countdown timer. Let's see if this lets me. Let's give ourselves another 10 minutes. Does that seem fair? Okay, go. Here we go. And start. Can't quite tell where I had it on the. Wow, this is taking off again, and NPM is doing its thing. Here, let me just do this with OBS. It's clearly dope. Here we go. All right, arbitrary timeline set. So yeah, so we're gonna use MySQL because we don't want to mess around with Postgres because that seems like a waste of time. I mean, Postgres has its own good and bad things. There's no doubt there. I actually don't even know what the bad things would be. But whatever, it doesn't really matter, does it? Because we're trying to learn Elixir and Phoenix. Phoenix and Elixir. All right, we're almost there. Okay, cd hello. Mix ecto create, right? That's gonna go ecto is our database layer thingy. What's it called? Does it have a name? Is that a plug? It's probably something like that. It's not a plug, it's something like that though. What did they call that actually in the we should understand that. Introduction overview. Top. The Phoenix layers. I guess it's called a layer in their terminology, which is great. It's a perfect term. Okay. Where's our up and running? Okay. So now we go in there. We're almost there. We have to create the database. I mean, I know MySQL set up on a machine, so this should just work. Did you mean ecto create? The task ecto, not etco. Ecto. Ecto. Oh my gosh, we got a database. It's outstanding. It's outstanding. Okay. Oh, let me pull up the clock again since I know the. Let's start up a server. Again, I assume phx, that must have been the archive we installed. That's the only explanation I could give it. Sever. Sever doesn't do anything. Server. Mix Phoenix server. Localhost 400. Localhost 4,000, not 400. 4,000. Look at us. We have a Phoenix app. Look at us. And you can also run it inside of an IEX. We'll get to IEX next time. We're ahead of schedule on our scope creep here. So now, once our dependencies are installed, the task will prompt us to change into our product directory and start the application. Phoenix assumes that our Postgres, yeah, we already went through that, right? So we're good on MySQL. Okay, let's give it a try. We go in, we did the create the thing. This is the first time you're running this command. Phoenix may also ask for rebar. Go ahead and install rebar. I think rebar is an Erlang thing. Again, I'm not going to worry about it right now. We can get into that later. And finally, we'll start the Phoenix server. We did that. If we choose not to have Phoenix installed dependencies when we generate a new application, it will prompt us to do that. That seems fine. By default, it accepts requests on 4,000. When our favorite web browser, we see the thing. If your screen looks like the image above, congratulations. You now have a working Phoenix application. In your case, if you can't see the page above, try accessing it this way. Make sure your OS is defined localhost is blah, 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 blah. Yeah, we got that all locked in. Locally, our application is running an IX session. To stop it, we hit Control-C twice. But we gotta look around first. not that crazy. Okay, so that's just a link. These are all links. These are all links. This is all a link. So just for like a teaser for next time, I guess next time we probably want to figure out like what is even going on here. Looks like we have some configgy stuff. We have some dependencies, right? We looked at Cowboy. We knew about Ecto. Ecto SQL got installed because we chose SQL. Plug. We know about Plug. And there's some other good stuff in there we'll have to learn about. We have our application EX. I'm sure this is important. We have our repo, which is our MySQL connection, right? We have our web. We have our web. Channels, which is our sockets. Probably don't have anything really going on in there. We have our page controller. It renders something called index.html. I'm guessing that is index.html. It's probably somewhere in here. Boom, boom. Okay, we'll edit it. We'll edit one thing just to make it seem like we did something. A productive web framework that does not compromise speed or maintainability. Sweet. Let's just do some HTML. Corey was here. How it updates automatically. That's awesome. Boom. We're basically software developers right now. Oh my God, Clayton, hi. Hi, Clayton. I forgot I could talk to you. I don't have to type. I'm used to being in the chat. Oh no, my timer died. All right. 4 minutes and 13 seconds left in the budget. Do we do anything else? I feel like I'm basically a software developer now. Like I've got the thing working. We've learned some stuff. Beam. All right, we have 4 minutes to figure out why it's called Beam. Beam. Erlang. There's got to be a reason why it's called that, right? Save some data. Clayton. We have 3 minutes and 50 seconds. I'm going to need at least another whole episode to figure that out. The goal was to get through this up and running document, which we did. The next step is to customize our application to give a bit of sense of just how a Phoenix app is put together. So that'll be next morning, tomorrow, between the hours of 8:50 and 10:30. Let's do it. I have to go do real work. It's no fun. 3 minutes, 18 seconds. Why is it called Beam? That's what we all want to know. It's a virtual. So Erlang runs under the hood of Elixir. We all know that. Elixir is basically another syntax language, whatever it's called, that compiles down to I don't know, Erlang code that is then interpreted by Beam, right? So it's the virtual machine at the core of the Erlang open telecom platform, because Erlang basically ran phone systems. It still does, I think. It's part of the Erlang runtime system, ERTS, which compiles Erlang and Elixir source code into bytecode, which is then executed on the Beam. Beam bytecode files have a Beam file extension. I can't believe this doesn't say why. Oh, here it is. Here it is. It's right here. It was originally short for Bogdan's Erlang abstraction machine, which sounds like something straight out of like a sci-fi book. Bogdan's Erlang abstract machine, named after Bogdan Hossmann, who wrote the original version. I feel like not enough developers do that. You should always name the things you build after yourself, so that if they never go anywhere, it doesn't matter. But if they do, it's kind of cool. The name may also be referred to as Bjorn's Erlang abstract machine, after Bjorn Gustafsson, who wrote them and maintains the current system. Oh, no way, dude. Definitely Bogdan. Bjorn. Credit stealer. I'm sure he's a good dude. Both developers worked at Ericsson. Did Ericsson make Snake? I think Ericsson made Snake, which is probably one of the best cell phone games of all time. All right, we answered that question. A minute 40 left. Feel like there's any other things we can figure out? So let's review what we did. We reviewed how to. I wasn't really intending to teach anything. I'm really just documenting what I'm learning. We figured out how to install everything. We installed Elixir. Well, we had Elixir installed. We had Erlang installed. So if you've never done those two things, that's going to be a little bit of a bore to get through. Then we got the Phoenix archive. We installed that so that we have the Phoenix commands. We reviewed the basics of what makes up a Phoenix app plug, which is like little module thingies. Cowboy, which is the server. Ecto, which is the database interaction. Let's see, Node.js does all the compilation of things via Webpack. Postgres we totally punted on. We'll just use MySQL since it's already set up. And what's this? Oh, Linux. Not me. That's not me. And then we made our first our app. We used Phoenix New to generate the app. We created the database using ecto create, using that. I wonder if ecto is considered a plug. Probably. Is ecto a plug? We can figure that out later. Ran a server, looked at it. We put our mark on the app. We did that all in, I don't know, 40 minutes, including trying to figure out how Twitch works for the most part. With 10 seconds to spare. All right. Well, I guess that's it for today. Tomorrow we'll do something. We got to figure out what app to build. I can't do anything for work, I don't think, because I don't want to accidentally show things that I shouldn't be showing. But we'll have to figure out. I'm starting a softball league, or I'm starting a team with a couple friends for softball, and I have an idea for an app I want to build. That's like a lineup creator. So maybe I'll build that here because that'll at least give me something to build because building arbitrary things is fun. Okay. Until tomorrow, same place, same time.